Hey everyone, welcome back to my Diecast shopping block. I recently acquired some wreckers for my collection. Back in July of 2022, I was looking at this particular wrecker that's made by a DCP First Gear. It's a 389 Peterbilt. And I was thinking, why I don't have any wreckers in my 1/64th scale diecast collection yet. So I kept my eye on this and then finally decided to purchase one. And this is a very nice truck. Of course, what do you expect? You don't expect anything less from Diecast Promotions. But I thought I'd just show you a little bit about this truck. Now, when you purchase this truck, of course, it's all white, except, of course, for the black lettering on the boom. So as I looked at this truck, I took photos of it, put it on my computer, looked at it, and thought, okay, now I need to personalize it for my collection. And that's when I decided to put the water slide decals, the flame decals, coming across the hood. So that's the only thing I did to this truck to change it up a little bit, was to put the decals on it. But again, a very nice truck, some really nice detail in it. Like most Diecast Promotions, the hood on this truck does tilt open, and as you look inside, you can see a nicely detailed engine in the engine compartment under the hood. The other thing about the front of this truck, if you look at the steering tires, they do turn to steer the truck a little bit. That's a nice little feature on these trucks. Most of them have the steering tires on them. And as we work our way back on these trucks, you see the stabilizers. Now, this is one thing I think they could have improved on this particular truck, these wreckers, is that they could have made these out of die cast. But as you see, they are made out of plastic, so yeah, you do have to be pretty careful with them. It's not something, of course, this is not a toy, so it's not something that you're always playing with, pushing in and out. I'm just pulling these out just to show you that that is a pretty cool feature on this truck. And what's really nice is the boom on this truck, because the boom, it does raise and lower, and it does extend. I'm not going to extend it all the way, but you have two extensions that slide out on this truck. That is a really nice feature, and also it rotates 360 degrees. So if you're especially into setting up a little scenery, maybe a semi-truck accident scenery, these are awesome little trucks for that. Me, I just like collecting and modifying trucks, customizing trucks. So what I do, of course, is I took this truck, again, took photos of it, put it on in my collection on my computer, and then I put it back in the box. I put them away. It's just so that they don't get scratched up and messed up in any way. But after I did this truck and I looked at it on my computer, I thought, well, it needed something. That's when I put the water slide decals on it. And I got the urge to want to make something different as far as a wrecker. So I know SpecCast makes a nice little wrecker body, not as detailed, of course, as the Diecast Promotions, but they're still nice. And one of the sellers on eBay was running a special on these particular trucks, the SpecCast trucks. So I purchased three, not all at one time, but I purchased them at different times with the intent of customizing them. So I'm going to kind of go backwards on the way that I purchased these. The third one that I purchased of the SpecCast was this Peterbilt. They're all Peterbilts. And what I liked about this particular one is the color scheme, black with the yellow flames coming over the hood. I thought that was a nice little offset to my Diecast Promotions Peterbilt wrecker. Make a nice little team there. The reason I like these trucks is where I used to live, right around the corner, was World Truck Wrecking. And these kind of put me in mind of the wreckers that they use. Nice looking trucks. So I ended up with these two. Now let me move them over to center them up a little bit as I show you the second spec cast that I purchased. Again, it was the Peterbilt, the same style as this, but it was all red. Nothing really fancy about it, all red. But I purposely purchased the red one because I had a couple things in mind, and I'll show you the one that I decided to do. I had a couple of short cabs, which you got to be mindful of. These are the simplest modifications you can make on some of these trucks to personalize them for your collection. But you have to be mindful of the wheelbase on some of these trucks whenever you start switching cabs. That's an easy change. And so I have a couple of other trucks in my collection that have a shorter cab. To be able to make it fit, though, you do have to make some changes. You have to shorten the front of the chassis a little bit. But I have a BMAC made by First Gear. This was originally on a dump body. And this cab, I have another one of these put away that I'm not touching, the BMAC dump body. And this cab here has been on a couple of different chassis. It was a tractor at one time with a dump trailer. I also, boy, I can't remember the other truck I had this on. But this is where it ended up. Oh, I had it on a logging truck. That's what I had it on. It was had it with a logging trailer. But it ended up here on this wrecker chassis. And once I put this cab on this body, I took photos of it and I look at it, and it'll stay this way for a while. But I do have other ideas. What I might end up doing is down the road purchasing another one of these, because I have a Model U Mac cab that would fit nicely on here. That was a First Gear custom that I customized. And I was also thinking about an international cab over wrecker, one of those two. So I'm debating, not sure which way I'm going to go with that yet. But for the time being, I really like this. This turned out nice. So there were some minor modifications to the cab just to get it to sit on there. And again, like I said earlier, I had to shorten the front of the chassis a little bit so that the cab fit on there nice. I made a custom chrome bumper for that truck. And as you can see, that is a nice little truck, isn't it? I think so. Nice little custom BMAC wrecker. Pretty sharp. But like I said, I didn't stop there. I did not stop there. I actually purchased a second one. This was actually the first modification I did to the wreckers. I purchased that Peterbilt wrecker, spec cast Peterbilt wrecker in yellow. Now the yellow cab did have the flames over it. I put that on another chassis. That's now a tractor pulling a belt trailer. But on the body, what I did is I have a F700 Mac cab over made by Top Shelf. And I do like the Top Shelf trucks. They are nice trucks, nicely detailed, very, very comparable to the Diecast promotions. So what I did is I made this wrecker with the yellow body. I had the yellow cab, Mac cab over. Now this one, I took a little more time with it because, again, I had to shorten the front of the chassis, push it back a little bit so that this cab would fit on there a little better, the wheel well over the wheels, over the front tires. And of course I kept the original Mac bumper put on it, and the stacks and everything all came with the Top Shelf Mac cab over. But of course on the Top Shelf the cab tilted, and so I wanted to keep that. So in order to do that, I had to take a Dremel with some drill bit, with a nice sharp drill bit, and drill some very small holes in the front of the chassis and carefully mount the cab so that it would tilt. Because I also took the motor out of the top shelf truck and I had to make some adjustments to it. I had to make some changes so that it would fit down into the chassis. Hood tilt open, and you can see a nicely detailed motor in there. The Mac motor that came with the top shelf truck. And again, I took my photos of this, I put it on my computer, I look at it, and I am happy with that makeover. I think that turned out really, really nice. Like I said, a little slightly more intense project because of having the cab tilt, but I think it turned out sweet. So now I have my 2 Macs, I have my 2 Peterbilt wreckers, and we'll just have to wait and see where it goes from there. I hope you like what you see. Again, for you collectors out there, I used to be a buyer and seller. I mean, I used to buy on eBay back in the 90s and customize trucks left and right, 1/64 scale, 1/50th scale, 1/34 scale. And most of that stuff I sold. And it wasn't until in the early 2000s I thought, well, you know, getting a little older, I didn't like eBay's terms changing all the time the way they did. And so I decided, well, I'm not going to sell on eBay anymore. So I strictly buy these trucks, I modify them, and I put them in my collection. I hope you like what you see. Hey guys, have fun with your collection. Personalize your collection. Make some changes on some of your die casts. Make them personal. Personalize them somehow. Half of my collection, or close to half of my collection, is customized. I leave a lot of my diecast promotions as they are original. Maybe make some slight changes. But when it comes to modifying trucks, I'll buy the PEM diecast. Oh, the PEM's fun to change around. Maybe I'll show you some of those later on down the road. But have fun with your diecast collection. Personalize it. Make it your own. I have, right now, I have just over 140 of the 1/64th scale diecast trucks in my collection. And I have some really neat stuff. At least I think that's some really neat stuff. I think these 2 wreckers here, they really added to my collection. So have at it, guys. Have fun. Enjoy.